It's on! We've got an imposter down there. I'm not sure how comfortable I am working with the boss looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but go ahead.
Cheese. All right, I'll do my. I think he's here specifically checking. Hey, everybody! Welcome to another edition of Disney Parks Talk Live. My name is Doobie Mosley. I'm the co-founder here at Laughing Place, the host of this show, along with my lovely wife over there. That would be Rebecca Mosley.
Hey, everybody!
We co-founded this thing back in 1999, and we're still around, and so is it. Sorry for that. Down there, below Rebecca, is our vice president in charge of remodeling and the month of haircuts, Michael Celestino.
Hello.
And down below us, our vice president in charge. Man, I didn't think about this one. I had Mike already. Jeremiah Good. How you doing, Jeremiah?
Aw, I'm good, Doobie. How are you?
Our vice president in charge of taking anything you don't want with the name Disney on it. Mike, I was just on Instagram while I was waiting for my computer to reboot and reading your post on Who's the Boss Pod, my favorite Instagram follow. Tell us, what you got going on down there?
I reorganized my office this weekend. It was a big project. I'm still trying to figure out the lighting, but everything behind me is in universe. I'm super psyched about it.
Which universe is this?
Actually, 3 Lucasfilm fictional universes are represented.
Nice.
Oh. And do we have a date for the haircut, most importantly?
Saturday. I'm getting my hair.
I need to cut this label off.
Yes. All right. Let's say some quick hellos. You said hello, La. Hey, Rich Ostry. Nice to have you joining us from Imei Travel. Tiana is not my boss. No, that's
Yes, she is.
but Snow White here. I finally remembered to bring her out and throw her around. There she is.
Is that
Hey,
one
Snow.
of your dwarves?
Hey, Tiana.
No, it's a Funko. It's a mini Funko.
Biddy?
Hello, Evil Queen.
Funko.
Hello, Alexander Lee. I can
I
call
got
you
it
the
at the Below
Equalizer.
5 store. Five Below store, Jeremiah. They have a
Sure.
bunch of those little Funko things at Five Below.
But I can't call you the Equalizer here. Okay, let's get started. Obviously, our top story of the week.
Hey, wait!
been
You
a
didn't
big-
talk about Jeremiah's shirt.
Okay. Hey, Jeremiah, what's your shirt?
It's a real American hero.
Oh, did you really get the G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe.
I did.
It has Scarlet. I asked him the most important question. Does
Yes.
it have Scarlet?
I figure since we're celebrating the 4th of July on the 3rd, at least the park is, I would wear a real American hero shirt.
I love it. Made me so happy.
G.I. Joe.
I actually walked into the park wearing this, which was so strange because I can't tell you the last time I walked into the park without wearing a Disney shirt.
Oh yeah.
But I will say this got so many comments.
Nicky B, knowing
Knowing
is
is
half
half
the
the
battle. You got that right.
Is that from G.I. Joe? I saw the movies. How much does Rose? No, we can't answer that question. The number is incalculable because you cannot divide by 0. All right. Jeremiah is one of the many influencer people who sports. You know what I'm trying to say. All right, let's get started with. Wait, what's that?
Mini or mini?
Manny.
Oh no, it's a gift, Nicky.
Yes.
It's more than a write-off. It's a gift.
It's a gift. Yeah,
Both of those definitely is very polite. Sorry, I keep interrupting you, Doobie.
I don't care. I'm so tired.
Well,
I'm tired today.
Some of us weren't in New Orleans. I'm sorry, Nolans all weekend.
Fair warning, after a weekend in New Orleans, you know how tired I am, even for a guy that doesn't drink.
I saw you go on Bourbon Street. You had a few
Yes.
of those.
All right, we're going to get started. Our top story in a week that brought us an Indiana Jones walk around Rogers the Musical, our top story, is obviously Michael Celestino. Tell us about it. Almost timed that right.
The pinball machine is back. Indiana Jones pinball machine. It used to be in the Indiana Jones gift shop at Disneyland until that went away. Now it's back in the exact same spot, but that store is now a seating area for the Bengal barbecue. But you can go and play the Indiana Jones pinball machine there again.
Did you play it?
I did not. I watched a couple other people play it, but next time I'm there, I will bring some quarters.
It looked like
Happy 4th of July, Christy. Happy 4th of July, Law. Okay, go ahead.
watching the I think it was the Disneyland ambassadors. They did a story on it. It looks like they went through and definitely spent some money to get that pinball machine renovated. Because I can remember before it went away that playing that was pointless because it was off center and you couldn't see half the things on the board anymore.
Yeah, it's nice and shiny and fixed up and looking good, sounding good.
So we've been doing Laughing Place now for coming up August 1st. It'll be 24 years that we've been doing Laughing Place. My proudest moment was seeing that ambassador feature on the pinball machine, knowing Mike Celestino noticed and did something for that before that even happened. Never been more proud. Way to go, Mike Celestino.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, so proud. All right, the other big news from last week, or one of the other big stories, was the debut of Rogers the Musical. Now, Mike, I know you got to see it. Jeremiah, I know you are so loath for spoilers. Now, we're not going to totally spoil the show, but we're going to talk about the show. Jeremiah, do you need to go away?
I do.
Okay, go away.
Hi, Jeremiah.
I'll slack you when it's time for you to come back.
Go,
We'll miss you.
go away. I like that. That's fun. Go away,
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
I see Benji's down there. If for Symmetry you'd like to join us, Benji, I know you saw it too. Feel free to, but no need. You don't have to. Mike Celestino saw it as well. But Mike, let's start with you. Tell us, what did you think of Rogers the Musical?
I really enjoyed it. I've seen it twice now. I think it's a lot of fun. It's got some really catchy songs. My favorite is the Nick Fury part. I know a lot of people are responding to that.
I've heard that from others.
And it's got, the song that we've heard already from Hawkeye, and there's, I think, the Star Spangled Man is from Captain America: The First Avenger. But it's really entertaining. Looking forward to seeing it again. Good stuff.
How long is the show?
I think it's like 35 minutes.
And what was so I know you saw it basically opening day and crowd was really hyped, but even kind of trying to cut past that, what was the response to the show?
Well, the first time I saw it was with the media preview, so that response is always going to be a little bit more muted. But I think even still then, it was very enthusiastic. And then the following day, which was the actual opening day, brought down the house. And people were super psyched for that.
Did you time the standing ovation?
I did not. I should have.
I want to know. Benji, your thoughts?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really well executed. It had to balance being like, the Hawkeye sequence had to be in there because that's what kind of started it. But then they kind of built this earnest show around it, and to the point where it almost felt like the Hawkeye sequence didn't fit. But at the same time, it's better to have it in there and not fitting than not doing it because it's a theme park show. And there was just, I think, some very clever things they did to make it work in a 30-minute show. Obviously, you're talking about 3 Captain America movies and a couple of Avenger movies. I mean, there's a lot they tried to kind of fit in. And they, and I think a sort of underreported story here is the rise of Jordan Peterson as a show director at Disneyland. This is the man who the fireworks, Wondrous Journeys, Parade, Magic Happens, now stage show Rogers the Musical. I think he's really he's becoming the next sort of it guy at Disneyland.
Is he going to be earning the Stephen Davison Award for big budget productions?
Yeah,
kind of the counterpart of the Denny Newell Award.
Yeah, I think he, and humble about it too, which is kind of nice. Sometimes, creative people aren't, and so I'm excited to see what he brings. Hopefully, he has a long career.
So, without getting into any spoilers again, I've heard some talk about like Easter eggs. Is this a pretty funny inside kind of show? Mike?
I mean, I don't know if there was a bunch of stuff that I wasn't. I mean, I'm a more casual MCU fan. I've seen all of it, but I'm not as obsessive with that as I am with Star Wars. But I feel like I picked up on a lot of stuff. There's again, the part with the Nick Fury song, there's kind of a rapid fire portion of that where even the second time, even after having seen it twice, I don't think I picked up on all the little in jokes in there. So have they released the lyrics yet? Because I kind of want to just go through them.
No, we could just pull them off the video.
Yeah, we actually did an article. Looks like Tony did the article on this one. Audio Easter eggs call back to DCA history and lore. So I don't know,
right. Well, that was part of the pre-show. There's a reference to the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror that I picked up on, and that commercial from I think somebody pointed out that it was from the Touch of Disney event. It's a commercial, an audio commercial for Elias and Co.
Any, I don't know, Ben, I know sometimes you're in tune. Any sense as to how well it's doing thus far?
I mean, no, it's hard to tell because one, it's a holiday weekend, so it's hard to gauge based off of there's no one out. No one I work with out at Disneyland is at work right now, but it is interesting in that it's a limited run show. It starts Sunday and Mondays, as well as some other
that's right.
in July. So, I think if you went to like the opening of Frozen or the opening of Aladdin, it was a much bigger in scope than this. This is even the press opening was basically just the premium experience with a Q&A session at the end. So, I don't want to say that you don't get the sense they're not confident in it, but you definitely get the sense that this is testing the waters, that this is not a big, you're not going to see advertising for it. You're not going to see, significant advertising for it. This is really just dipping their toe in the water.
And it is a limited run, at least announced thus far that it's going to be a limited run. I don't know how set in stone that is if it turns out it is a success.
Well, I mean, just like anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be a limited run if they don't want it to be.
Well, I know. Like, sometimes there are reasons that it does have to be, but presumably this isn't one, and if it's successful, it can continue.
And I do hope if it extends that they do kind of flesh it out a little bit more. Like, I think it could use a little bit more cast in terms of size, maybe a little bit more of a kind of like what they did with Tale of the Lion King when they moved it from California Adventure to Disneyland Park. They kind of plussed it up a bit.
I was going to ask that because it was striking to me to see kind of how small the staging was for the casting was. So I was just kind of curious if it felt that way because the visuals are like what I expect to see on maybe like an outdoor venue, and to know that that's in the Hyperion that has such a large seating.
Yeah, it didn't feel small until they did Save the City. Like then, the big production number kind of felt like even the production numbers before then, they kind of just felt like there was enough going on. They're very dynamic, but because you're used to seeing it a certain scope on TV, then you're like, oh, then it hit me like how many people were actually in it.
Yeah.
And actually, it didn't really even hit me then as much as it did during the curtain call. And you're like, oh, where's everybody else?
Okay.
We do have a full review on this that was written by Benji down there. I should have done what I always do when we have reviews of stuff and read the headline and the final paragraph. I'm going to do that. Kyle, if you're out there, this is for you. Review, Rogers the Musical at DCA is everything a theme park show should be. And the final paragraph says, Rogers the Musical is everything a theme park show should be. See how he connected the headline and the paragraph? Let that be a lesson for all the LP writers out there. This is to say that it has fun, catchy songs, exciting dancing, and a lot of spectacle. It also fits DCA like a glove, so definitely head over to see it while you can. Good sum up.
Trying.
Yeah, she's trying.
I will say that this show would be a lot more in my memory if it wasn't like one of two musicals I saw last week, and the other one was better.
Well, the other one was not a theme park musical. It was a big production musical, full Broadway musical.
It was still better.
And this, it's hard to compare because Rogers the Musical is based on a comic book and a movie, and you saw a musical that was what?
It was based off of a movie that is basically a comic book. Also, I didn't have like the one thing I would say is I didn't have Bob Gale making audio commentary at Rogers the Musical, which was maybe a plus. But
Will-
Benji saw. I just want to mention Benji saw Back to the Future. So go ahead, Rebecca.
I highly recommend Back to the Future.
Rich Austria is asking, will it work on a DCL ship? What do you think, Mr. Ben? You're somebody who.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it almost feels like it's a better place for it. Has
Podcast.
the right size. It's 30 minutes. It's it's. I think. I mean, and maybe I'm. I feel like previous Hyperion shows were overstuffed, like they were too long and kind of drawn out. And I feel like this one maybe is a little bit the opposite.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think it's a lot of projection. There's some set pieces. You don't feel like it's only projection. It's not. It doesn't come across as cheap, even though it's a limited time show and didn't have a 10-year capital life cycle on it. So,
Cool.
I hate when I'm watching a show and thinking about the Cap Your Life cycle.
Then I don't think I've ever gone to a show and not thought about the capital. When I went to Sesame Street Live when I was 6, I was thinking about the depreciation.
Don't think he's joking. If you are not sure if you're going to get a chance to see Rogers the Musical, or you're just impatient, fret not. Mike Celestino, did your video come out well?
I want to say we have the best video of this show of anyone. The full show.
Unfortunately.
Woo!
Unfortunately, nobody showed up.
Oh, that's awesome, Mike. I know it was fun to watch live. I think that was our partner in crime down there, doing that camera work while you were capturing a beautiful copy of it for the.
Oh, did you go live? I didn't even know that.
Yep. Benji was.
We were not sitting together.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so no, it was very awesome to be able to kind of catch that moment as it was happening. I peeked in for just a bit, but yeah. So if you want to see it, if you're somebody like me who isn't sure if they're going to be able to catch it during its limited run, because that's a smaller window to try and make your way down to Anaheim, check out our YouTube. There's a link in the chat. Leave a comment, by the way. That helps out with other people finding our video. If you leave a comment on videos on YouTube, if you find videos you like, leave a comment, ask a question. Those websites out there where we do all this social media stuff, they really like it when there's engagement. And so, if you ask questions or make comments, we'll jump in there. We'll have a chat. And like I say, it helps other people find us, and that ultimately helps us be able to do more stuff like this. And it's fun. We hope you enjoy it too.
I will also say there was a little bit of inside baseball. We were live from the show, and there was a discussion, not a discussion, but we were debating whether we should stay live to go through the Q&A. And if Doobie was around and not traveling to Essence Fest, we probably would have, because he would have had something to say. But we chose to end with the show, and if we had not, you would have seen us all evacuate.
Oh, that's funny.
So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, Mike, I think I'm agreeing with your opinion that we have the best. When I was checking this video, like a day after, it was very middling views. It is shot up with 19,000 views now, 79 comments, 664 reactions to it. So,
and we appreciate that. No, I appreciate that, because like I say, engagement really, really helps other people find us. So as you get involved with our content, it helps other people find us, and more people then get to view our content too. We appreciate it very, very much.
Yeah, nice job, Mike. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
All right, that's it for Rogers Musical. I'm going to tell Jeremiah, get your hiney back here. And Benji, thank you for joining us.
You can go back
to come on again at some point. You are the boss, and we can't say no. But otherwise, see ya. All right, so next we're going to talk Indiana Jones, where Mike Celestino got to. Did you actually get to meet Indy at some point, Mike? That's really exciting.
I did meet an Indiana Jones.
Well, no. You met Indiana Jones.
I met the Indiana Jones.
Okay.
The other thing I would say that is weird about Rogers the Musical is that they had Cap kill Iron Man in it, which I just thought that was so bizarre.
Nice, Mike. That was good timing too. That was good.
Very. You had me fooled. All right. So let's hear about the Indiana Jones walking through the park.
That's the Indiana Jones.
that is the
I want
Indiana
my money
Jones.
back.
He roams between the Indiana Jones adventure and Jungle Cruise in Adventureland at Disneyland. There he is interacting with a young child who's also dressed as Indiana
Wait,
Jones.
Which one's the real, left or right?
On the left. And yeah, he looks at a little scroll that he has on him. He has a book with him too. Sometimes he goes up on top of the Jungle Cruise, kind of above where the stroller parking is, that building. And he is happy to take photos with you. I haven't seen him sign autographs. I know a couple people were asking about that. I'm sure he probably would, though, if you asked. And he also gives kids the decoder cards for the Marglyphs.
Looks like he also is kind of a vlogger magnet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, this is early in the day.
Yeah, I was like, day one. When I'm there next week, he'll be walking around, people like, you're cosplaying really good.
I'm sorry, I can't think of another. Streetmosphere is different. I can't think of another Disney character where most of their time is spent walking around interacting as opposed to just being in a spot. Am I missing something?
Chewie, Vi,
the
Rey,
Galaxy's Edge,
Mando, Boba Fett.
So the Galaxy's Edge crew.
Nope.
Wait, what'd you say, Ben?
No, I don't know. I've not really done Avengers Campus. Is that the way it is?
Oh, yeah.
No, when I've seen Avengers Campus, they're like staked out and people are walking up and getting pictures.
Some of them are, but like there's like a lot of the times it's just they're just like Ant-Man just walking around. I mean, they may get kind of stuck because they're popular, but
Toontown.
Is this Toontown?
Yeah.
He's got his own house.
No,
not Mickey, but Clarabelle.
Clarabelle and
Pete and Clarabelle. That's happened since you've been.
Again, I've not been to the. So okay. So you guys are bitching a bunch of relatively new stuff. Is this kind of how they want character interaction to be?
I think this is always what they wanted it to be, but then they couldn't get it to always work because the demand was so high. But now that there's a lot more characters, and some of them, like Vi, I think can get away with it. And in Avengers Campus, you have usually, a couple out at the same time. Like Spider-Man doesn't because he's very popular. But, there's some other people, I don't want to say lesser because that's, I'm not judging them.
That's a lot. These aren't value statements as human beings. We understand what lesser character means in this context. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what, I've heard that from entertainment people. It's like they want more it to be natural. They want people to have the moment as opposed to always lining up. Even things like you see something like Mickey's house, Mickey's magic, at what do you call it?
Are you talking West Coast specifically though, Ben?
No, I'm saying like even if you look at Disney World. Now Disney World, it's a little harder because characters are a bigger part of everyone's day there. Just the guest mix. But if you look at the Town Square Theater, like that is designed to be a more intimate experience. Just you can't have Mickey walking around as simply, freely outside. So I think they want it to be more natural, but it's just not always feasible.
Okay.
But I think at Disneyland it's a lot easier to get it done because it's not like it's the same characters every week.
What happened,
Jeremiah.
Florida.
Okay.
Just lost power, and it's been trying for multiple times to come back on. Thankfully, my hotspot works, but yeah.
Woo!
All right, so Indiana Jones walking around.
It got very dark down there on Mike's screen too. I'm like, wait, everybody going dark?
That's just me still adjusting my lighting.
Okay. Don't worry. That's pretty
Let's
cool.
see. And then there's some rumors.
Wait. Very quickly before we move on, though. Mike, were you impressed with his banter? I know you were not exactly praising of the casting choice per se, but was his banter? Yeah, there you go. Was the banter amenable to you as a indie fan?
I think he was pretty good. I think that he's still figuring it out. That performer's still figuring it out because I overheard him saying kind of the same thing to multiple guests, which is I guess you only have like a certain amount of.
Well, he's not really talking. He has pre-recorded spiels, right? That he just kind of figures out.
Like
That's how Avengers Campus always is with the characters out for their first day. They have like the 3 conversations that they can have, and then by the end or by the next week,
Yeah.
they're actually.
Totally. Todd appreciates your look around there, Germ.
Yeah.
Okay, is that any other indie conversation you wanted to
that was
have?
what I wanted to know.
I think even already we've seen indie look a little bit different on different days, right? As if there's, yeah.
Didn't
okay.
shave one day.
No, I know there was a different performer Saturday. Sorry.
Mike.
God.
Crazy.
I didn't know we can't break the fourth wall on this show where we talk about Disney parks.
We're valuing that.
I know,
Not
right?
everyone knows. Not everyone knows, Mike. We're valuing.
We just
that.
talked about them using their fingers to talk, Jimmy. I mean, literally.
All right, so I'm confused here. I was in New Orleans for 3 days. I don't know, and then traveling the 4th day. So I don't know what's going on. What's the deal with Indiana Jones having changes or not? The ride.
So they put out Disney Parks blog put out a press release or a post that said that Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris, basically anywhere there's a Indiana Jones attraction would be seeing some updates. I went through the queue and the ride at Disneyland twice on Friday, and I couldn't find anything that was different to my eye. And I asked my friend Nick, who's a real expert, and he couldn't, based on what pictures I was sending him of stuff that jumped out at me, he said that none of it was new. So I don't know. I couldn't find anything.
You okay, Jeremiah?
Gods have been angered by all the celebrating around here. My house is rattling. Like, I have not had thunder like this in a while.
Oh, I miss Florida so much.
You look so intimidated.
Well, my power's still out, which is one thing, but the fact the building is rattling. To jump off Mike's, I know that here at Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, they put in some new pictures.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing it could just be something small in one of the, like in his office or something that you'd really have to spend time looking for.
I honestly did. I jumped out of the line and I stood looking in that, the cordoned off office, trying to find anything that was related to Dial of Destiny, and I could not.
Poor Mike.
I mean, I wanted to. It's, I'm interested in that.
Oh, totally.
I'd be excited to find something, but I could not. I
That's
really
like the
spent
worst.
some time
I
on it.
hate it when I hate it when there's something like that, and then we send you guys, and we're like, well, we hear there's something new at X, and you're like, okay, out of all the bazillion details, everything, okay, and then kind of behind the scenes, then it becomes a thing on our internal Slack. Pictures of random things. Is this new? And then somebody, oh no, I remember that from my trip in 2007. And
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate Mike's efforts, but how did you miss this, Mike? This is pretty obvious.
That's not at Disneyland.
Good answer. Mike's right on top of it.
Disneyland Paris, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
that
this is at
Disneyland
Disneyland Paris. Yeah, this one is Disneyland Paris. Mike would have spotted this if he were in Paris. There's no way he would have missed that.
Because anybody would have spotted that, because that queue has not been updated. The sun bleaching, those green apples are standing out among everything in that queue.
Wow. Okay. All right, let's get back to another character, this one being Princess Tiana. And she got debuted in her new adventure costume on the Disney Parks Instagram. Let's check that
Hi,
out.
Tiana here. We've dug a little deeper, and I think we're almost there.
Wonder Woman. Oh, sorry.
Why, we can't wait
really
to take
can't-
you down on an adventure through the bayou.
So
I
that was
can't tell where that video is actually taken. That's every time I looked at it, I was like, is that Disneyland? Disney World?
that
New
transition.
Orleans? I think it's New Orleans.
Is it really?
No, I
Oh.
think it's Disney Park.
Yeah, it's in
I
the
gotta
park.
believe that's Disney Park.
I'm pretty sure it's Disney Park. I just don't know which one. See,
I've been to
it
New
looks
Orleans. I didn't see the
TSI.
spot.
It looks
Yeah,
like TSI in the background.
Yeah, it does. It does look like TSI. Yeah.
The Mississippi River is wider than this then.
Yeah. My bet is, I don't know.
But she was in New Orleans, and our intrepid reporter who was there managed to get a little bit of a picture while he was waiting in line to get in the pavilion, because another presentation went a little longer than expected. So there you can see her over there, and there's another shot of her. Put those two shots together, and you've got a good bit of her head and torso.
Were you on the grassy knoll for this?
So the ironic thing, I got a lot of content.
He was learning more about a dinosaur.
I got a lot of content out of this trip to New Orleans, but the ironic thing is the whole reason I initially wanted to go was to cover Tiana there. And this was the Tiana moment, and I missed this because I was covering everything else under the sun, and I was in a presentation for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur that went long and wasn't able to make it down in time for this. So now you know. But I got a couple of
Knowing is
bad
half the
pictures.
battle.
Got a couple of bad pictures, and we did get to see Tiana, and thankfully they did release some pictures,
Yeah.
from one of the Disney parks. And what do you guys think of her new look?
I love it.
I like it, but to me, she kind of reminds me of Mary Poppins Returns, like in the the flatness of the pattern.
Yeah. The color scheme reminds me of the three fairies on the Magic Happens parade. It's like the vibrantness of their realization in the Magic Happens parade, and so it hit me because you've got the green and the blue and the pink like Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. So that's what jumped out at me. Magic Happens.
I'm pretty sure this is the same Tiana that we had in New Orleans too. Right,
Magic Happens.
Do we?
Always.
Do we?
Mike? I'm just
Always.
picking on Mike.
I know it's so hurting.
I did just get an email from Disney about this. And
Oh,
just a clarification, we do not know when Tiana will be appearing in this outfit at Disney parks. Some believe that this would happen when the attraction opens. However, Disney has stated that they cannot confirm when the costume will debut.
they can't. Never mind. Whatever.
Late
But she-
2024.
But she did debut to actual guests who were lucky enough to be within the came to play pavilion at the Essence Fest over the weekend, and she was very popular. I could
Wait,
see
there was
and
a play
hear from
pavilion?
came to play. I'll get to that later.
Came to
I'll get to that later. You don't understand, but I'll get to that later. But there was a place in the pavilion. I mean, you could see in the pavilion, and you could hear in the pavilion the excitement from the guests seeing Tiana in this new costume. So it was fun to be there. Now, give me that one. Okay. I'm so.
Do you want to?
tired.
Do you want to talk about these?
In a moment, let's just get
Okay.
one more Tiana story real quick. This one with Jeremiah, and then we will go ahead and talk about
Ooh.
the adventure.
The water tower is there.
Okay. And the crown. Don't forget the crown.
Tiara.
And the two stars on the crown.
Tiara. No, it looks beautiful. So when the sun hits the tiara, the stars,
They twinkle.
they twinkle, and there's also moss on it. It looks amazing. If this water tower is any indication of what the rest of the ride is going to look like, it's going to knock it out of the park. And that's just a simple thing they put in overnight.
Never ever lose sight of what is really important. Is that what it says on the back of that?
Yes.
No, it was
that's
all
what-
started by a mouse.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
iron-
her dad
I
says.
believe it says it was one of those zippity.
No, it's never lose sight of one thing. It was all started, and then they have a blank about. Still, it
Yeah,
is.
that's
Never
what-
wait for it.
Ain't no place that far.
I was over there looking at it today. They're working very hard on the outside. One of the things I asked some of the publicity people that were out that day was, if you read what the Parks blog post said, it hints that it's opening during Mardi Gras, because the way it was written, and they even said, "Oh yeah, that does sound like it's written during Mardi Gras." No, it's late, is all that they say. Late in the year.
Okay. But this got me. I'll be honest. This got me a little bit excited. A little bit more excited. It was like, I was like, oh.
The costume, every little bit gets me more and more excited for this attraction. I think they're going to nail this one really well. So anyway,
We're almost there.
Tiana kind of leads me to my trip to. Almost there. That was good. To New Orleans. I was in New Orleans Friday, Saturday, Sunday for Essence Fest, which is a festival for what is there? Something Joy. I don't know. Anyway, it's a festival, a music festival in large part, but not exclusively, for the Black community, put on by Essence Magazine, hence the Essence and Essence Fest. And I went to check it out for the first time. Really interesting. Disney has a huge presence there. Huge presence. And also very popular. They had a booth they called their Came to Play booth, where you could go and everyone that went to the booth got a pair of rose gold mouse ears, including myself. You're going to show those off, Rebecca? Yes, those were beautiful. I now finally have some rose gold headband, and they were doing lots of giveaways. I mean, they were giving away trips to Disneyland and Disney World left and right. No joke. I've never came closer to winning a trip. My favorite one was they were doing a presentation on Disney destinations, and there were people just sitting at the Essence stage watching. No more than 100 people sitting down in these chairs. Probably quite a bit less than 100 people. And they were just calling out numbers because they had numbers in the back of the chairs. Is your number blah, blah, blah. And half of the time, there was no one in the chair, so they had to call off the next number. When it was your number, come up front. So they got 3 numbers. They came up front. They each reached into a bag, pulled out something. The first one pulled out a parrot. Well, let me tell you, you got a parrot. You're going on an Adventures by Disney to Costa Rica. And then the second one pulled out a lion, pulled out Simba. Simba, what could that be? A Nat Geo adventure to Kenya. And then the last one had a Mickey Mouse. You're going on a Disney cruise. That's it. You had like a 1 in 30 chance of winning it.
How many times in our world has the Disney cruise been the least cool trip that you could have been?
When they did a presentation at same stage, Disney on Broadway, and they were asking people's birthdays. And it took them forever to find a birthday because there just weren't that many people there. And finally, they found like 3 people. Hey, all you guys are going to New York to see Aladdin on Broadway. It's crazy, the giveaways they were doing there. So it was pretty awesome. And this is, one of the things I did yesterday, because today is Monday, right? Yesterday, I went to a brunch that was a part of the Essence Fest, but it was only invited people. It was a little bit off-site. And they gave us these really cool leather mouse ears, which you can click your feet. But one of the purposes of this particular brunch, it was put on by Disney Parks, was to talk about their new, they pick a number, you win a DTL magnet. Now, please, the prizes weren't that good. Talk about one of their marketing promotions that is coming out later this year. I think they said it's going to debut.
Rice Krispie treats?
Yeah, debuting in September-ish. They're going to be doing a new promotion specifically geared towards the Black community. And I heard from Savone Davis, who is the VP Marketing Strategy at Walt Disney World, and Sybil Crum, VP of Marketing and Communication Strategy at Disneyland Resort. The two of them were on stage talking about it, and it's called Came to Play. So that was the name of their pavilion here, and that was kind of the, if you see some pictures on our site, that was kind of their tagline for this brunch, and you're going to, at least in certain marketing segments, you're going to hear a lot about Came to Play later on in the year. This was kind of their soft launch for it. And they talked a lot about Celebrate Soulfully and the food in the parks and just different things changes they've made over the recent and even not so recent past to more target the Black market, and how they're going to go to that even more with this Came to Play marketing push they're going to be doing later in the year. And this was the debut of it at Essence Fest, an obvious place to debut it, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's a good introduction that they gave us. They actually talked 2 different times at the brunch. I do have video. It's not quite up yet. I'm going to be doing an article, probably posting tomorrow, that kind of goes into it a little bit and some of their strategies and reasonings and such. But, both of these ladies are big Disney fans. They've been going to Disney all their life, and they just talked about how they felt it's important to try to make Disney. Obviously, Disney is accessible to anyone. The people from all over the world love Disney as it is, but they also feel it's important at times for Disney to try to actually reach out to certain segments in terms of the content that they have, the product that they're putting out there, to try to target different audiences, and in this case, the Black audience. And so that's what Celebrate Soulful is, and some of the other stuff that they talked about. And again, we'll have that whole presentation up on our site probably tomorrow, and an article I'm writing about the launch of Came to Play. Pretty exciting stuff. So that's a large part of why I was there, as well as seeing Tiana, which I almost did, and some other stuff separate from Disney Parks.
And bringing me
which we'll be
home
talking about as well.
and bringing me home some pecans. I love pecans.
Yes,
So-
Jeremiah.
Juby, do you think that the Came to Play pavilion is going to lead right into the Play pavilion?
No.
Okay, just
That'd be awesome.
trying
We
to.
should start that rumor that it's going to
But-
become the Epcot Came to Play Pavilion.
But the pavilion was fun. The pavilion was kind of cool. I mean, I have obviously some pictures. Show you a few pictures from it. Not a ton, but it was, you entered through a giant mouse ears, and as you entered, you got your rose gold ears. Here we go. So this is the Came to Play pavilion right there.
Aw.
This was the only pavilion I saw in the whole place that consistently had a line. You could not just walk in here. You had to wait in line. There were some Disney fans at the Essence Fest. that
Rose
is
gold
for
ears
sure.
will do that.
But no, every place was giving away cool stuff, though. I mean, this isn't like us. This is just people who were at Essence Fest, and they were interested in going to see the Disney film. Because once you got inside, is when you. I mean, what was inside for the most part, other than the party, there was whenever Princeton got on stage or the ambassador got on stage, it became a party. But otherwise, it was mostly just photo spots. So here's the stage, and here you can see they're doing some dancing. That's not the actual Tiana there. That's a guess. But for the most part, it was just showing off product and backdrops for photos. And
That's
people
cool.
like their selfies. People were lining up to get their picture in front of a Tiana location of the Bayou and all that. And but then the biggest party, I don't think I have the video here. Oh, yeah, I do. This was the party.
Oh,
This
no.
was the party.
Everybody say Disney! Say Disney! We came to play, yeah, we came to play. We came to play, yeah, we came to play.
I had the best time watching the crowd dance into We Came to Play. Everybody say Disney.
Oh, that's so fun.
much.
Mickey is
Love
the band leader. That looked amazing.
That was cool. Oh, let me get that for you.
I always enjoy when Mickey showcases his dancing skills. It's a lot of fun. Really high energy, but yeah.
Yeah, so I first saw historical Black colleges and universities, HBCU, Mickey Mouse at the Disney Dreamers Academy. And they actually talked a lot about how Mickey goes down there and does a lot of training for this. I mean, they take this really, really seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And
You don't
come on,
mess
Google,
around
there
with
you
that.
go. And
I'm not sure if it'll pop up. It's gonna have a little bit of glitch problems, but
you're playing?
it's a little glitchy, but it's playing. But we've got the full. Is it on our Twitter, dude?
Instagram.
It's on our Insta. So
Yeah.
be sure to check out our Insta so you can really see it at full speed, not just all.
Pixelated. It was great. And it was great to hear the audience there. They were loving it.
Mhm,
It was
totally in it.
really cool. So yeah, that was a
There were
little
some
bit of Essence
there were
Fest.
some meet and greets at that pavilion too, right, dude? The
meet and greets were upstairs at the fest.
They were?
There was some meet
Okay,
and greets.
okay.
But yeah, they had a Moon Girl there. They had Captain Minnie there. Tiana in her normal costume, unfortunately, but Tiana was there. And I did get some pictures of her I'll be putting up. But yeah, some meet and greets, and then lots of other non-park stuff. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur panel that we already have up on our YouTube. Disney on Broadway presentation. A Disney Dreamers Academy presentation, which
Yeah,
I
and
think is already up on our YouTube.
and as part of the Disney travel presentation, that's how you took a picture with the genie, whose name isn't coming to mind.
Michael James Scott. I don't even remember when I took that. I think I took that after that presentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
but he was-
didn't he sing like?
Oh, actually,
As
no.
part of
He was kind of like a co-host at most. He was all over. So yes,
Okay.
I have a video of him singing, but he was also at the Disney Dreamers Academy, and then he was
Yeah.
also at the brunch. And I
So
got my
beautiful.
picture with him at the brunch.
Oh,
after
his
the
voice, so
Yeah,
nice.
he's always high energy. Whenever
Oh,
he's
man.
out for the Disney on Broadway, he just nonstop.
It was
Check
beautiful.
out our interview of him on laughingplace.com.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so that was Essence Fest. I'll probably talk more about that on our next Disney Trivia Live on Saturday. Probably do a little after show and just go through the whole trip if you're interested in learning more. 7:30 p.m. Pacific Saturday, and obviously we'll already have some content on Laugh and Place, and we'll have much more coming up. Let's get back to Disneyland Resort, Michael Celestino, where finally, where's my? I don't know why sometimes the tab doesn't have the share this tab button. What happened here? So here we go, Mike.
Finally, the bridge at San Francisco Square, formerly Pacific Wharf, the bridge has gone vertical. It has a couple towers there. They are not painted yet, but they're there.
They're there. They're signed by cast members, which will then be painted over.
Yeah. We discovered during the live stream that those parts that are covered by the tan tarps are the beams that were signed by the cast members.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And we still don't have a date on this, but finally going vertical and a lot of the scaffolding's down. So hopefully, dude. Let's see. Back to Disney World. What's this, Jeremiah? Josh DeMauro has said the Star Cruiser is going to be coming back as something truly spectacular. Is that a direct quote?
Yes, absolutely. Or something's going to happen with it. I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but it was as vague as he could possibly make it.
Yes.
And many of the jokes that I've heard is, yes, it just like Disney Quest was coming back, and something to be done with it, bulldozed. Who knows?
He said something will happen.
Yeah.
I know, Ben, I'll ask you since we are lucky enough to have you here today. Can anything be gleaned from those three words that perhaps couldn't be gleaned without those three words?
No, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, they're not going to just keep it as an empty building for the next 100 years. That is correct.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, and I
fourth-
actually asked a couple people, sources, sort of, so to speak, and yeah, it's I wouldn't think next week. Now we could be wrong. They could know something super, just like the closure. We didn't have any heads up on. There could be something that they're working on that we don't know. But I would not. I think I wouldn't get too excited.
Okay, then I will temper my excitement for that. However, I am very excited because tomorrow is the 4th of July. Fireworks at the Magic Kingdom tonight and tomorrow. Assuming they have power. 4th of July flyover tomorrow morning. Very exciting that there's going to be a flyover tomorrow morning, weather permitting again. Magic Kingdom. Jeremiah, you going to try to check that out?
I will. We'll definitely have the video up on our Instagram and some photos and stuff. As far as the power, I still don't know what's going on with my place. I was over at the Magic Kingdom earlier today, and anybody that has been paying attention to social media, if you are not in the Disney parks right now in Walt Disney World, you are missing probably one of the best times we've had in years for low crowds.
So what is going on with attendance? Is there some reason for this that is not coming to my mind?
Based on my experience this weekend, they can't get there because of flight issues.
That'd be funny if that's true.
There are a million different reasons why there's no definite. The heat is definitely up there, but overall, I think because of the 4th of July falling midweek, it's like when Christmas and those fall during the midweek, it always ends up being kind of weird. Tomorrow, Magic Kingdom is completely sold out. So that's the one thing, but you can also go over to Epcot. We don't know if park hopping will be available after 2. But I'm looking forward to going to the park and hearing some DJs, yo.
Yep.
If you do make it to a park, make sure you check out Jeremiah.
So, Sam the Eagle. Sam Eagle. Sorry, I always keep putting the, and his middle name is not the.
You're thinking Smokey the Bear.
I'm thinking Peppa the Pig, which is not the either.
No, it's not. Smokey the Bear.
Yes.
Smokey the Bear, yeah.
Kermit the Frog. Ms. the Piggy. So, yeah, Sam Eagle, you have a photo op. It's a magic shot with PhotoPass, just like with the baby animal over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. You can do that. There are many different photo ops available. I hopefully we'll have the patriotic balloons. I did a couple of different photo passes.
You have to do this one.
No, my least
Yeah.
favorite.
What?
Least favorit.
I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay,
I
that's
don't
fair,
know if
that's
I'm going to
fair.
make it over to Epcot tomorrow, though I do
Show
love
them all again.
Epcot on the 4th.
Mike, you gonna
Can I
do this
Can I
one?
tell a very tangential Disney story about Alex and Red, White, and Blue?
Oh wait, hold up. Todd Stone has an important question for Mr. Ben. Was it Back to the Future the musical, or was it Back to the Future the ride the musical?
No, there was no Union 76. It was Back to the Future, the
Okay.
musical.
Okay. But what's your
Um,
tangential story?
So we went to the D23 Rookie of the Year event at Wrigley Field.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, and so they gave us a goodie bag.
In the heat.
It's a bunch of stuff, including red, white, and blue M&Ms. And Alex goes, "Oh, do you think they just made these for all their 4th of July events?" And I looked at him and I was like, "I don't think they. It's not. It's because it's the Cubs, Alex."
Aww. That's cute.
And then they brought in, what's his name, Thomas Ian something, the Rookie of the Year guy.
Yes.
And but they introduced him as, like, from the 1993 World Series, are one of the best club pitchers ever. And so then they go around and, like, he gives out baseball cards that he signed with his picture on it. And then we get back to the hotel and Alex is like, "So that random Cub player, like, when did he play for the Cubs?" Alex, that was the Rookie of the Year guy.
At some point, did
Aw.
the crowd chant funky butt loving?
So here's the thing about the game. It was supposed to start at 1.
Yep.
Then it got pushed to 4. Then it got pushed to 6. And I had an 8 o'clock fight. So I don't know what happened at the game. It went into extra innings. It looked like a great game.
Wings.
I want kudos to my high school baseball coach Talps, who who the first baseman he coached, or second baseman he coached, who I was really excited to see play, who I didn't get to see play because it was raining. And NASCAR fans would also know it was raining because that all got messed up too. So
Yep.
It was a day in Chicago.
It was a wet day in Chicago.
Give him the heat.
Although the other team from Chicago, the White Sox, were playing the Oakland Athletics in Oakland, so I was able to watch them on TV beat Oakland. I know that's shocking.
All
The
right.
Oakland Athletics of Las Vegas.
I want to know wait, put up all the patriotic stuff again. Honestly, the patriotic magic shots. 'Cause I want to know. Because you mocked the fact that was my least favorite, and I want to know the consensus ranking.
I like the Epcot Tiny World one.
So there's
My
all
favorite's
these.
the balloon one.
You like the balloon one, Ben, right?
Even though you cannot buy balloons at Epcot, we'll just go with it.
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Celestino? Which one would you Which one would you make a point of finding out, Mike?
Of the Epcot ones?
Of these magic shots, which one? Other than Sam, we all know Sam Eagle's number one, but in
Uh-huh.
addition,
I guess the 360 one that you don't like.
so you three are the 360. Okay, but Ben and I are balloon people.
I like the glowing stars. That's kind of cool too.
Balloons. Okay,
The
sorry. Go
balloon
ahead.
those are always weird because when they're like, "Okay, do this," and then they'll either have your hand too far up so it's halfway blocking your face, or too far down. Like the Sam Eagle one, I took twice. The first one I took still hasn't come across my PhotoPass, so I went back later on and said, just to be safe, I want to take a second one. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry, the first one will show up any second now." I'm now about 5 hours later, and
One more thing I wanted to cover. Rebecca, have you seen Chris Sanders at the park?
I saw an article on this website called laughingplace.com.
Yeah, so I put this one in to do because I thought this was great. I was going to do it on the morning show, but we haven't had one of those. 'Cause I've been out of town.
I'm
So
glad
this
you
is Chris-
did. This is how I saw it.
This is Chris Sanders at Disney World, and I just thought this was great.
Okay, so I'm here at Disney World. I'm walking around, and I see somebody I know. And he's right on this wall. It's this cool Stitch. And when you come near him with your magic band, it glows blue. It's doing it right now. It glows blue. And my voice comes out of it. And it talks to you. I had no idea this was here. This is very, very cool. I'm just excited. And this is like one of those things, I don't know what to do with myself. It just... You can be part of my Ohana.
I feel like
me,
that
alright.
is such a setup video because no person who's ever walked by there with the Magic Band Plus has been able to trigger it without doing anything.
I
Sorry,
love.
continue, Jeremiah.
No, I love that.
No, I'm not saying it's
burst
not
my
great,
bubble.
I think if we're going to play that one, we should play the Dan
Povenmire.
Povenmire one also.
That one was good too.
That one was really good. I saw that one too and didn't put it into do. And then I saw we put an article on it. I'm like, duh. So that's why I put this one into do.
Yeah, no, Povenmire. If you haven't seen it, there's an article on Laughing Place about that one. And the Phineas and Ferb crew were visiting Disneyland Park, having quite the day. If you look at Povenmire's Instagram and various socials. And among the things that happened was they stuck on Rise of Resistance and opted to let Scott Trowbridge, Imagineer, know about their circumstance. So
they FaceTimed him and
And it looked like he was drinking or something. I didn't see it that well, but
Taking the Galactic Star Cruiser
he's
closure
playing
really hard.
with the droid and everything.
in fact, Ben has done the same thing on Star Cruiser.
I know.
So just fun. Chris Sanders, creator of Stitch, as well as the voice of Stitch, by the way.
Is he
did.
back with Disney? I thought it was still.
He's supposedly voicing Stitch in the live action adaptation.
yeah, that's what we've heard.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's out there that he's.
Because that's what we need. All right.
Hey, I want a seagull alert for that doobie.
I don't seagull myself. Sorry. We're done. I can't seagull. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Mike, nice to have you.
You say you
Jeremiah,
have to seagull?
always great to be here. Seagull.
Seagull.
Rebecca,
Be
love you. Thank you for
appropriate.
being
Set
here.
a proper tone, Mr. CEO. Come on.
I swear
done.
he's like, I had to go. I have to, and I was like, that's weird.
Bye, everybody.
Got a seagull.